I wanted to get in here and actually compare the 2019 Redbud track in MX vs. ATV All Out to the new 2020 Redbud track and try to see if we can figure out some of the little differences, because I don't think there's very many. That's what kind of, struck the idea for me to come in here and make this video. Like, there is not very many changes. So I'm on the new one, the 2020 one right now, and see if I can stay on the track. So I wanted to get in here and just, try to pinpoint it down to the exact differences, because I'm really not seeing a lot. I mean, I'm going to be completely honest with you. You guys know I'm just as, brutal on MX versus ATV as I am any other game. Some of you dudes have this idea that you think I'm not, but I am. I'm just as brutal on MX Simulator as I am with any other game. Like, people don't get it sometimes, but this is no exception. Like, this is going to be one of those videos where it's like, I'm going to give you the real talk right here because it needs to be said, okay? So one thing I will say right off the bat is, well, first of all, I'm back on the 2019 Redbud track. We're just going to go back and forth here so you can kind of try to see the differences. I'm just going to be going back and forth and just trying to look at what we can really find that's different on these tracks. So, but one thing I do want to say is, even though some of these tracks might be very similar, the thing about it is let's just say you didn't buy last year's season pass, right? You didn't buy any of the DLC replica tracks last year. The thing is if you buy the season pass this year, you're getting all of these tracks that you would have gotten last year in this newer 2020 pack. You know what I mean? Plus the new tracks that came with this 2020 pack. So, yeah, I mean, I can understand if there's not much changed and you bought last year's pack, it's kind of like, what the hell's the point? But if you didn't buy last year's pack, this year's pack, it's almost like you're getting literally every single outdoor national round this year, whereas it wasn't like that last year. There was only like half of them. So you're really getting more of the full effect with this year's DLC than you were last year's. I just wanted to point that out. But, yeah, with the new Loretta Lynn's track, it was just slight differences, like slightly bigger berms than the year before, maybe slightly more pre-made ruts, and then that bigger like wall jump area was kind of quite a bit more noticeable on the Loretta Lynn's track, but that was about all that was different on that. Whereas this track, I don't hardly feel any differences. Like, I don't think any of the jumps are actually different, really. Like jump peak or the layout's identical, not at all changed. The only thing I can think of is just slightly bigger berms in some of the corners on the 2020 Redbud than this 2019 one right here. Maybe, I don't know, it's slight. Whatever it is, it's slight. You know what I mean? I'm talking like 5% different, like not a lot different, you know what I mean? And I was really shocked by that. I'm not going to lie, MX vs. ATV. I'm kind of shocked by that. I was expecting you to make, quite a bit different, like pre-made designs on this newer 2020 Redbud track just to make it something different than the year before and make it kind of cool. I was really expecting more of the, 3 or 4 smaller individual ruts in the corner. I don't mean small like small in height. What I mean is like small in, they're more individual ruts. It's not so much just like the two berms going through the corners. It's more like, hardcore, what you would expect, more like hardcore pre-made Redbud. I just find it to be kind of weird how there was so much pre-made on the 2020 High Point track, but then you get to the new Redbud track and it's not even close to that amount of pre-made. Like, with both of these Redbud tracks, the 19 and the 2020, it's just way smoother than I thought it would be. It's way less pre-made than I thought it would really be, than what I was expecting it to be, compared to some of the other tracks with pre-made on them. I was expecting there to really be like, 3 or 4 hardcore dig-in ruts. Like, if any of you guys have this DLC that have rode on the High Point track, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about when I talk about hardcore pre-made. I was expecting more of that kind of pre-made on it, especially on the 2020 Redbud of this game, right? It's one thing if, you know, they were trying to, their first Redbud, like the 2019 Redbud, didn't have quite the pre-made. It's kind of more understandable, but now we have a whole nother 2020 Redbud. They have a whole nother opportunity to make that more hardcore pre-made track, and they just didn't. They just didn't. So I'm kind of confused on that. I'm going to keep on going back and forth between these tracks. You probably can't even tell which one I'm on or what, like, because there's just not enough of a difference to even really be able to tell. But either way, let me, we'll get back on the 2021. So yeah, just a little disappointed by this. I was certainly expecting more of a change between the 19 and the 2020 Redbud. Of all the tracks that you could have made sure and changed, I would have thought, you just would have thought. By the way, I have the AI on easy just so I don't even have to worry about that because I'm trying to look at the track. What a scrub, Spence. What a scrub. But, yeah, I always do that in videos because it just gets annoying. I don't even want to have to deal with the AI. It's like, nah, I just want to look at the track. Some of you guys are going to say, well, just go to free ride. Well, I want to have all of the objects and stuff on the track, too. This is going to be a little confusing when this is going to, like, different times of day. So just keep that in mind. You know, we were kind of on the middle of the day, time of day beforehand. So don't get it in your head like, oh, look how different the track is because of the time of day. Like, oh, that one's sunset and the other one was, you got to understand there's all different kinds of times of day on both of the tracks. So don't look at the time of day, okay? Just look at the actual track itself. I mean, I do think there is like somewhat of a maybe decal dirt coloration change a little bit. Specifically in this whole area right here on the 19, it's a little bit more darker dirt, it seems like, than the 2021. But, man, I'm just having a hard time. Like, why is this corner perfectly smooth? This is Redbud. What are we doing, bud? Like, why are these corners so smooth? It needs to be rougher. It needs to be, like, more ruts, more individual hardcore ruts. I don't know why they wanted to go more down the vibe of, like, smoother, wide open, bigger berms, smoothed out berms. I mean, yeah, obviously it's going to get rougher when you know, ride a bunch of laps on it with terrain deformation, but it really has to have that base of pre-made if you really want it to feel like an actual real-life Redbud. You know, it's just not going to feel like that without pre-made, no matter what kind of terrain deformation system you have. It's just not really going to feel like that, right? This corner gets it a little more like it should be, but... And then I guess this corner before Larocco's is a little close. You know, you kind of get a little bit more of a rut right there. But still, just not even really close to what I was thinking, like, pre-made wise for a Redbud track. Like, look, I totally understand. You know, I get that you can't change a whole lot when they don't change the track maps and you're having to make the same outdoor national track 2 years in a row. Like, I get it. It's kind of hard to just randomly change things, but you can still do a lot of stuff with, like, pre-made rut placement, you know, kickers on jump placements, cool little how the pre-made roughness is. You can change a lot of that kind of stuff. And a lot of people has talked about this with MX Simulator, you know, when they'll go in there and make like the next year of replica track or whatever, and they're like, oh, Spencer, they can't change a whole lot because they're just going off of the track map. You can, even though you're going off of track maps and real life replica layouts and stuff, you can still change a lot of other stuff. I don't know why people kind of use that as an excuse, and it really annoys me. You can change a lot of other stuff, dude. You can change where the pre-made roughness placement is. You can change the width of the track in different areas without changing the track, really. You know, you can make it different without making it different. You know what I'm saying? You got to understand what I'm saying there. You can change things that don't really change the track, but it makes it feel different than that same track that you had the year before, right? And I feel like they've kind of lacked in doing that here with the 2020 Redbud track on MX vs. ATV All Out. It really just feels like the exact same track as the year before. So it is what it is, I guess. I mean, I honestly cannot even tell you what the differences are. I mean, the berms might be 5% bigger. Some of these little roller areas might be 5% bigger. I mean, literally 5% and nothing more. But that is it, dude. Like, that is it. So let me go back to the 2019 one just one more time. just to kind of show you again. I was just expecting a lot more, man. Just kind of disappointed on this one. Hopefully they kind of get their crap together, or maybe they could do an update and make it cool. Like, you need to take your pre-made design that you had on High Point and just integrate it into the 2020 Redbud track. That's what you need to do. That's what I would have done if I was, the designer behind it and everything, because that would have really made it feel different. It would have been cool for all the people that's already been riding on that Redbud track for a year, this 2019 one right here. They might have amped up those rollers just a little bit, but not a lot. Not a lot at all. All this is like pretty much exactly the same. Maybe they amped up to jump faces like maybe 5%, maybe, but it's not a lot. I'm telling you, dude, it's not a lot. Like, it is pretty much the same exact track. Pretty much, dude. Like, why would you ever have a perfectly flat corner on Redbud? That literally, those two things just don't even, make sense. They don't even go together. You know what I mean? I don't care if it's MX Simulator, Reflex, All Out. I don't give a shit what it is. Redbud is the last track the last track of the series you want to be trying to make, smooth or less pre-made. You know what I mean? It's one thing if you want to go in there and make, I don't know, well, I mean, Southwick, it's sand, so it's kind of all in how you want to do it. But, I mean, all these tracks are kind of known for getting gnarly in real life, rut-wise, but especially Redbud. Redbud is just known for getting super rough, super rutty. And the only way you're really going to accurately be able to do that properly is with pre-made, regardless of what game it's in, So, I don't know. Just a little disappointed. Definitely think they could have done more with this. So, yeah. Just had to come in here and make a video. I know some of you dudes think I'm like some MX vs. ATV fanboy. I can never say anything bad about MX vs. ATV. Here you go, dog. Here you go. It's just funny. People act like they've really, they act like they know my videos, but they don't really know my videos. It's kind of funny. Because if they did really know my videos, they would understand at some point in time, I've pretty much taken a fat shit on about every single one of these motocross games in some kind of a way, right? Even the ones that I think that are legendary GOAT 10 out of 10, like Reflex and MX Simulator, I've still shit on certain aspects of those games. It's not like I've never said anything bad about those games, But and then people kind of get thinking I'm franchise fanboy. So they think I'm could never say anything bad about a MX vs. ATV game when I've said multiple bad things about MX vs. ATV games over the years. I've told you boys over and over how terrible, absolutely terrible MX vs. ATV Supercross was. But it is what it is. That's the way that internet world works, bro. Everybody can have an opinion, yeah. So it is what it is, And it's cool. I get some people are trying to troll. I get some people are trying to joke around. It's all good, dog. There's a few small percentage of people that are actually genuinely upset or thinking I'm being biased about whatever. It's a small number, dog. It's a small number, and I'm well aware of that. It's just that's the way the internet world works now. It's all about memes. It's all about let's try to push that because it's funny, whatever. And I totally understand that. That's cool. I ain't got no problem with that at all, but I'm just kind of explaining to the few people that, are genuinely actually thinking I'm being biased. It's dog, you got her all twisted in your own head if you're thinking that. But either way, appreciate you guys watching all the videos. Later, dudes.